What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video is entitled, though, Having Arguments Instead of Conversations. So there's been some things I've seen over the last few weeks, but nothing new. And some things I've actually talked about in my personal life, and so videos apropos. Some people don't actually want to get to the bottom of a situation. Some people don't actually want solutions. They just want to argue. And that's the main objective. And some people feel like, to get to have a conversation, you have to create an argument. That's their way of communicating. Instead of just, having a conversation, they might, disrespect you, or some people say throw shade or shoot shots at you until you get to the point where you get tired of it, and then you have a blow up, and then you have an argument, and then that argument eventually leads into a conversation. But as you get older, that's just not that's very immature, because a disagreement can still be hashed out in a conversation. It doesn't have to be an argument. A difference of perspective does not have to be an argument. And you can't be easily offended. Like, sometimes I notice people who like to argue are easily offended, and they have a tendency to, everything that they do that's disrespectful, they can't see it, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, purposely or by mistake. They just, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't come at you wrong. It's like, okay. But when nothing, and you could tell, because when nothing gets done without an argument, that could be who you are. Some people get into it multiple times in a week with people. Some people don't really take into consideration how many arguments they get into in a week or a month. And if those arguments actually led to a solution. See, it's one thing, like, kind of like a debate. A debate is an argument, but just in a more civilized manner. You make your point, they make their point, and now whoever had the better quote unquote argument wins, because they made more sense than the other person. But when some people just like to argue, it's not about sense. Omit the logic, right? So you're in a situation where you get a high and a rush from arguing. And I'm gonna tell you why. Like, it is draining in it for other people. Like, if that's how you get a rush, other people don't. I can't speak for other people, but me personally, I gotta watch the way I talk. Because if I get into an argument with you, there's gonna come a point of the argument where I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm gonna start thinking to myself, either I leave or we really get into it, because I'm not gonna sit here and just be arguing with you all day. Because if I do, I'm stupid. But if you're gonna argue that much, what you gonna do about it? Are you sick and tired of the situation to do something about it, or you just talking, you know. But, even in our community, there's so many arguments that, people it's like an argument Olympics. There's always well, brother, it ain't got to be like that. Your point is good, but mine is better. And that's cool. But even if your argument is better, now what we gonna do? And some people get so caught up in the pontificating, signifying that becomes their action. And it's problematic, to say the least. It's problematic. One of the other things that I notice about it is when you want to argue so much, you're going to constantly move the goalposts. Constantly. Okay, so this is what we was getting into it about. Okay, so that's going to be done. Oh, and another thing, and this, wait. Okay, so, that's done. Oh, and another thing. See, there's never a finale to a person who just wants to argue. It's always something to argue about. The Jello ain't got enough Jello. The Kool-Aid ain't Kool-Aidy enough. It's like, what are you doing? The great sex just ain't great enough. Okay. The best friendship you had just ain't good enough. Like, you just really don't want to be at peace. And sometimes I think that's the underlying issue. Is some people just don't like peace. Some people can't live without turmoil. So you can never really have a true conversation with them because they can't come from a place of peace. They can't come from a place of being object or their vantage point is always in chaos. They don't know what it looks like. It's uncomfortable. It's kind of like if you take somebody who comes from a rough background and you put them in a softer environment, it's going to take them a very long time to decompress to the environment. You're going to be a fish out of water. And there are a lot of people who are fish out of water when it comes to peace and stability. And which, sometimes it's their fault. Sometimes it's their upbringing. You got to figure that out. But so many people are adults making the decision to just argue instead of having a conversation. And some people can't have a conversation because some people don't know how to actually have a conversation because they don't know how to actually put their feelings into words cohesively. If you ever get into it and you're dealing with somebody, I feel like I need to sneeze. You're dealing with somebody and you ask them a direct question and they don't know how to respond. It's not a difficult question, but they don't actually know how to formulate a response because they've never probably had to answer that question, or nobody has ever taken them into consideration enough to ask them that question, so they don't even know how to answer it, even though it's something that they've probably been looking for. So so they're so accustomed to the combativeness that a solution shocks them. Like, wait, you actually gonna we actually gonna hash this out? Like, yeah, it's not that difficult. But some people just can't have a conversation. They say closed mouths don't get fed, but yelling mouths get aggravated. So it's a process. It's a catch-22 sometimes, but it happens. It's part of life, man. So I was thinking about this, so I just put this out here. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.